from one house to 41 houses, and then turn it into a $1.25 million deal, and then sold it which I sold at KB Homes. Then they turn around and then they named the street after my family, called Cruz Court. So I'm gonna kind of break down a couple of avenues that I thought about when I actually did this deal, which, if you ever want to look it up, first address built was 7187 Cruz Court, Lakeland, Florida. So anyway, let me jump right into it. My name is Franklin Cruz from TrueInvestors.com. So in this video, I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit more on how I did it and why you should think about it as well. So what I did is, I had a deal that came into me a couple of years ago now that I finished this deal. A lady called me. She had one house on 9 acres and she just wanted to sell it, make as much money as possible. I looked at the deal. I was able to negotiate a creative financing deal with a long due diligence. So lesson number one, if you're doing a big deal on land, make sure that you have a long due diligence, because you don't know how long it's actually going to take to do whatever you want, because you have no idea if it's possible. So with land, is tricky. You have to make sure, number one, that there's no kind of easement and anything that could, what I call finding the dead bodies. So what is possible on the site, what is not possible on the site, and is it buildable or not? So you got to figure out, is there wetlands on the property? What's actually going to make it buildable? And making it buildable is not calling the building department to see if it's buildable. It's actually doing the studies that is necessary to find out if it's buildable. So one study is called a geotech. Normally you'll hire a civil engineer to help you and kind of bid this stuff out. I always recommend get 2 or 3 bids. And then you have to get what they call a topo boundary tree survey, but you have to ask the survey specifically, is there any kind of easements on the property that I don't even know about? Is there anything, power lines over the easement, anything that's going to make it non-buildable? Then you want to call 411, or is it 811? I'm sorry, 811 or 411, one of the two, and they will let you know if there's any cable lines or any lines in the property that it's going to make it unbuildable as well. So these are just a couple of items. Then at the same time too, you have to do even more studies as well. You have to do what they call a boring test to make sure the soil is actually buildable. If not, you have to bring in soil. Now you may not be the one doing it, but you have to set this up for your end user, which I did with KB, and I've done with Johnson Development Group. I've done when I've negotiated with D.R. Horton and other like Copart and other players as well. Lamar Outdoor Agency, Florida People's Gas, we did a deal with. What I've learned out of all these transactions is you have to make it as done for you as possible, but they will pay you ultimate premiums to make that happen. The main reason why is they don't want to do the work at all. They just have a crap load of cash and they're willing to spend it, and they're willing to give you a huge piece of the pie if you're willing to do the work, period. And then you have to make sure that you have conceptual plans that kind of meet their needs of what they're looking for. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it's got to be pretty damn close. So anyways, that's kind of the start of it. But now the end result is you do this right, and you'll be able to basically, and now I partner with landowners, or sometimes I just purchase them, but I could pay usually a premium because I could do a value add that they don't have the capital to even do, or I have already the team that I could pay premium for land if the numbers make sense, that we could do what we need to do with it. If that's a business park, multifamily apartment buildings, subdivision, or we could build on it, or we could just sell it off. The goal is that you want to create a win-win scenario. And if so, you too could possibly sell a site for as 1.25 million to like a KB Homes. I highly recommend always have a partner. And if you're thinking about partnering as well, just FYI, I'm open if you have a piece of land that you want to sell, or you have land and you have no idea what you're doing and you want some help with that. Possibly we could work something out. I have no idea. I'm open to possibly consulting with you on it. You could always go to TrueInvestors.com or just shoot me a DM and tell me what project that you want to work on, and tell me kind of tell me a little bit more about the site. You know, why should I want to work with you? Because these items, development is time consuming. The biggest thing is you have to make sure that you have active income when you're doing development, because sometimes they could take anywhere from 6 months to a year or longer. But the payoff is what I call retirement level. Like truly, you do only a couple of them. You really don't have to work ever again if you don't want to, but you've got to get the reps in, and it happens through time. But it is feasible, and to me, the pinnacle of all real estate is learning development. So, all right, hopefully this helped. This is all less than 5 minutes. Gave some great info. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, like, share it. and I'll mean the world. All right, my name is Franklin Cruz from TrueInvestors.com. Bye.